Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Peach and today I'm going to show you how to make this super cute axolotl. I made this pattern myself, so if you'd like to follow along with the written version, feel free to click on the link in the description. And as always, if you decide to make one of these with me, please send me a picture on Instagram at taylor.peach. I would love to see your creations. And if you want to see more from me, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get on with the video. First, we'll go over the materials you'll need for this project. You'll need 2 colors of yarn. The first one, your main color. I chose Red Heart and Baby Pink. And your second color for the gills, I chose Mainstays in pink. You'll also need a crochet hook that matches the size of your yarn. And if you look on the packaging of your yarn, it will tell you exactly what size you need. See the crochet hook? It says 5.5 millimeters. And on the other one, find the crochet hook, 5.5 millimeters. So these yarns are both the same size and they call for a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now you could go up or down, you could use a 5 millimeter, a 6 millimeter. It'll just change the size of your project slightly. So if I were to use a 5 millimeter, it'd just be a little bit smaller. If I were to use a 6, it'd just be a little bit bigger. You'll also need some safety eyes, some polyfill. Any brand is fine, just stuffed animal stuffing. Some scissors, a placeholder. Now you could use a different color of yarn or even a paper clip for this. And a yarn needle. These come in metal and plastic. I have a curved one, but there are also straight ones that you can use. To begin, we'll grab our main color of yarn and our crochet hook. And since this is a beginner tutorial, anytime we do something new, I will show you exactly step by step on how to do that. So first thing we need is a magic circle. To do that, get the end of your yarn and lay it over the 2 fingers on your opposite hand. Pinch it with your thumb. Wrap it around the back and make an X in the front. Wrap it around the back again. So you have an X in the front and 2 lines in the back. Get your crochet hook, go under the first line and grab the second one. Pull that underneath the first. Twist your hook so the yarn will stay on. Secure that in place as we pull our fingers out of the circle. With the rest of your yarn, going to put it around your hook and pull it through that loop, just like that. And there's your magic circle. Now the magic circle is probably the most difficult part for beginners to learn because this may be your first time ever doing it. It does look a bit complicated, but you can do it. If you didn't get it this time, just rewind the video a little bit, watch it again. You can even adjust the speed to a slower setting. Watch how my fingers move, watch where the yarn goes, and keep trying until you get it. You got this. Now that we have our magic circle, we're going to go onto our first round. For amigurumi, we work in rounds instead of rows, so we go in a circle instead of in these little lines that most crochet projects have you do. So for this, we're going to put 6 single crochets into this magic circle. So if you'll grab your running yarn, which is the yarn connected to the rest of your yarn and not your tail, so if you'll grab that and kind of steady your magic circle, we're going to insert our hook into the magic ring. We're going to yarn over, which is putting yarn over your hook like so. Pull it through so that you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull it through those 2 loops. So that is our first single crochet. We're going to do 5 more. So insert into your magic circle, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both of those. So there's 2. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of those. So as you can see, we're making some stitches. Each stitch looks like these. Got 2 little bumps on them. And you can count 1, 2, 3. So 3 more. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. There's 4, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. There's 5, and our last one, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Now you can count and make sure that you have 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it does take some practice being able to count these, because when you're a beginner, it kind of all looks the same, kind of looks like a jumbled yarn mess, but you got this. Now I can show you what's so magic about the magic circle. If you'll take the end of your yarn and grab the yarn right here, just pull it. And as you do that, that circle will close, like so. That way we are not left with a giant hole in our project. If you're following along with the pattern on my blog, at the end of each round it'll have a number in parentheses. This number is how many stitches you should have at the end of each round. So for the first one, it'll be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For our second round, we're going to increase all the way around. An increase is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So in our first stitch that we made, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so there's a single crochet. For an increase, we're going to do that again. We're going to insert into the same stitch we just made our single crochet, and we're going to make another one. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So there is our first increase. And this is where our placeholder comes in handy. So when we're working in the round, there's nothing telling us that we're done with our round, unlike rows in crochet, because once you hit the end, you know that you're done and you go to the next one. For working in the round, you have to have a placeholder to mark your point so you know when to stop. Now you can use a placeholder like this. You can get them online in craft stores and whatnot. Or you can use a paper clip, or you can use a scrap piece of yarn and just pull it through the stitch and make a little knot. Since we did an increase, the first stitch in this round is this one right here. So we're going to insert our placeholder like so. So as you can see, here's our increase. Our round began on this one. So we're going to go all the way around until we hit this placeholder. So in the next stitch, we're going to do another increase. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. In the same stitch, make another single crochet, insert yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So now we have 2 increases. What an increase does is it takes 1 stitch and it turns it into 2 stitches. So for these 2 stitches, we've now turned them into 4. And you can count the stitches like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to continue to make increases until we hit our placeholder. So 1 single crochet in the same stitch, another single crochet. There's another increase. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet, in the same stitch, another single crochet. Next stitch, another increase, which is 1 single crochet, and another single crochet in the same stitch. All right, 1 more. 1 single crochet, and then another single crochet. And that's how you do increases. If you notice that your magic circle has a little gap in it, you can always tug on the tail to close that back up. We have completed round 2, and if you're following along with the pattern on my blog, at the end it'll have the number in parentheses, which is 12, so you should have 12 stitches. Before you go on to the next round, always make sure that you have the right amount of stitches, or else something could go wrong. Starting from our hook, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 stitches. Now we're going to take our placeholder out because we'll be moving on to round 3. In this stitch, we're going to make 1 single crochet, like so. And we're going to put our placeholder right back in so that we know when to stop. For this round, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we've already done our 1 single crochet, so the next stitch will be an increase. So do 2 single crochets in the same stitch, like so. And then in the next stitch, we'll do 1 single crochet. Okay, so we've got 1, an increase, and 1. So next is another increase. All right. Then another single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. We're going to keep doing that until we reach our placeholder. And if you ever lose track of where you're at or which one you need to do next, you can always go back to your placeholder and count. Since we know the pattern is 1 single crochet and an increase, we can count. So 1, and then 2 for an increase, 1, 2 for an increase, 1, and 2 for an increase. So now we know our next stitch will be 1 single crochet. I used to get lost all the time whenever I first started crocheting because somebody would distract me, or I'd have to get up and do something, and I come back to my work and I'm like, where was I? I have no idea, I don't remember. But I learned that trick is to just count back. If you know what your pattern is, just count back and you can figure out which one you need to do. If you ever lose your hook, just put it right back in your loop. Happens to the best of us. If you ever find that it's hard to put your hook in a stitch, you may be pulling your yarn too hard, okay? So if you're struggling every time to put your hook into the stitch, try not to pull it as tightly. And same on the other end. If it's too loose, you can pull it a little bit tighter, okay? So now we've reached the end of round 3. We should have 18 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, once you have 18, you can go on to the next round. We're going to take our placeholder out. We're going to do 1 single crochet. Put your placeholder back in. And for this one, round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we've already done 1, so let's do our second. There's 2. Then we're going to do an increase. Okay, and then 2 single crochets. There's 1 and 2. And then an increase. If you feel like I'm going too fast for you, that's okay. You can always pause, rewind, catch up a little bit. And then 2 single crochets and an increase. And we're going to keep doing this pattern until we reach our placeholder. Once you've reached your placeholder, you should have 24 stitches. Make sure you have 24 before you go on to the next round. If you ever don't have the right amount of stitches, that just means you probably missed an increase somewhere, and you can always take your hook out and pull the yarn back until you find your mistake. We are going to go on to round 5. We're going to make a single crochet after we took out our placeholder, and then put our placeholder back in. Our placeholder is very important. If we didn't have this, we would just keep on making single crochets and increases forever and never know when to stop. For this one, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. So we already have our first one. There's 1. Make another single crochet, 2, and another 1, 3. All right. Then we're going to make an increase. Okay, and then 3 single crochets. And an increase. We're going to keep doing that until we reach our placeholder. Once you've reached your placeholder, you should have 30 stitches going all the way around. Once you have 30, we're going to go on to round 6. Take out your placeholder. We're going to do a single crochet and then put your placeholder back in. For the next 5 rounds, we're going to do single crochets all the way around with no increases. And to keep track of that, I always write them down. So we are on round 6. And I'm going to single crochet all the way around until I get to my placeholder. Once I do that, I can check off round 6. So we're just going to single crochet all the way around. No increases. And I will meet you back when I have reached the placeholder. If you still need time to catch up, just pause the video. Once you reach your placeholder, make sure you still have 30 stitches all the way around. Since we only did single crochets and no increases, your stitches should not have changed. So, if you get your little piece of paper, you can put it on your phone. Since we just did round 6, we're going to check it off. I've found that this is the best way for me to keep track of how many rounds that I've done and to keep track of what round I'm actually on. So you're going to continue to do single crochets all the way around for rounds 7, 8, 9, and 10. And once you have checked off round 10, we're going to continue on with the video, and I will meet you back when I have checked off 10. Alright, I just checked off round 10, and once you've caught up with me, then you can continue on. So, one important step at this point would be to flip your work. So, if you'll notice, this side looks a little bit different from this side. And now the correct way for amigurumi to be facing is this way. So we're just going to flip that to where your tail for your magic circle is inside of your project, not on the outside. All right? So, moving on to round 11, we're going to take our placeholder out and we're going to do a single crochet. Like always, put your placeholder back in. It is very important. Another tip that I can think of is if you ever lose what round you're on, you can always count it. So starting from here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For round 11, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. And I'll show you how to do that once we get to it. So we've already got our 1 single crochet. We're going to do 2 more. 2, 3, And then we're going to do a decrease. A decrease is pretty much the opposite of an increase. We're going to take 2 stitches and turn them into 1. So here's our 2 stitches. To start out, we're going to insert into our first stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through so that we have 2 loops on our hook. Then you're going to insert into the second stitch. Yarn over, pull through so that you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops, like so. So that's how you turn 2 stitches into 1 with a decrease. We're going to do 3 more single crochets, and I'll show you how to do the decrease a few more times, just so you can get the hang of it. All right, done 3 single crochets, time for a decrease. Insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook. Insert into your second stitch, yarn over, pull through, and you'll have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. So there's another decrease. 3 more single crochets in this round. And then another decrease. So insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. Insert into the second, yarn over, pull through. And yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. We're going to keep doing this until we reach our placeholder. Once you reach your placeholder, make sure that you have 24 stitches all the way around before continuing. And this is the head of the axolotl, and it is starting to take the circular form now, as you can see. So now is a great time to put in your safety eyes. So what you can do is pull your crochet hook a little bit so that loop is really nice and big so it won't unravel. Take your crochet hook out, and we are going to find some safety eyes that we like. I believe I'm going to do these right here. Usually people ask me what size eyes I use for my projects. Usually I do not know because I just pick which one looks best, but I'll measure this one. 7 millimeters or so. So 7 millimeters. So we are going to see where we want to put these. You can always poke these in and then move them around to see where you want them at. Just whichever looks best. Just remember it's going to be stuffed, so it's going to be just a little bit bigger. Say like one of these is like too far up or too far down. You can just take it out and put it in the place you think looks best. For me, I have them about 3 rounds apart from the center, and it's pretty even on both sides. So once you're happy with the eye placement, we'll get the backs of the safety eyes. And remember, if you're planning on gifting these to small children, they can still potentially choke on these, so I don't recommend gifting any crochet projects to anyone that is under the age of 3. Okay, so we're going to turn our work around. You can see the little pegs of the eyes here, and we're going to take our little end. I'm going to put it on like this. You just want to push that down until it snaps into place. There we go. Alright, and that ain't going to come off very easily. Take the other one, we're going to do the same thing. So now we have our safety eyes. Alright, going on to round 12, we can put our crochet hook back into our loop and just pull that tight. Take out our placeholder. We're going to do single crochet and then put our placeholder back in. For this round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease. So we've already done 1. Let's do our second one. And then a decrease. that a little, make sure it's nice and tight. So then 2 single crochets and a decrease. We're going to keep doing this pattern until we reach our placeholder. Once you've reached your placeholder, you want to make sure you have 18 stitches all the way around. And now we're going to add stuffing to the head. So just like last time, we're going to pull on this loop and then remove the crochet hook so that we can freely stuff the head. You'll take your polyfill and just start stuffing it in there. If you want it to be more firm, you can add more. If you want it to be more squishy, you can add less. But just add in however much you feel is right. And you can actively kind of shape your little ball around so that the stuffing goes in evenly. Once you've stuffed it the way you like it, which we can always add just a little bit more before we close it, put your hook back on your loop and pull it tight. We're going to go to round 13. Let's take out your placeholder. We're going to single crochet. Put your placeholder back in. For this one, we're going to do 1 single crochet and decrease all the way around. So we've already done our 1 single crochet, so we're going to do a decrease. You might pull a little bit of stuffing through with your hook, but that's okay. 1 single crochet and decrease. One single crochet and decrease. I like to pull the yarn a little bit tighter on these decreasing rounds just so it closes up nicely. You're going to keep doing this until you reach your placeholder. Once you've reached your placeholder, you should have 12 stitches all the way around. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more stuffing in since we've added a little bit more yarn. Alright, now we're going to go into our last round, which is round 14. Take out your placeholder. And for this one, we're going to decrease all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and decrease. And you can put the placeholder back in on that decrease. Alright, and then continue to do that all the way around. Should be for 6 decreases. Alright, we've reached the placeholder, so I'm going to take that out. And then we're going to tie off our work. So if you'll grab your scissors, we're going to leave a long tail for sewing in our head. So if you'll cut that, make sure you leave a long tail because you'll have to sew this into the body. Alright, and then in our next stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're just going to insert our hook, we're going to yarn over, pull through, and we're going to take that same yarn and pull it through the yarn on our loop and pull it all the way through. Pull that tight. And there's our head. And if you want, you can add a little bit more stuffing. You can always use the back of your crochet hook to add more stuffing in. Because when we're closing it up, we are adding more yarn to the back, so it may be a little bit empty back there. But we're not closing it up all the way like some works. Just because we're going to be attaching it to the body, there's no need to sew up this little gap here. Alright, we are completely done with the head of the axolotl, and we can move on to the next step. Now we're going to move on to the body, so we're going to start the same way we did with the head. So first we need a magic circle. Lay your yarn over your fingers. wrap it around the back, make an X, wrap it around again. So you have an X on the front, 2 lines on the back. Under the first line, grab the second, pull that through, and then take your yarn it over and pull it through. If you need a little extra help with the magic circle, just rewind to where I first explained it, and I did it much more slowly, and just practice that until you get it right. So we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic circle like we did with the head. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then pull our tail closed here. For round 2, we're going to increase all the way around. So insert into the first stitch and do an increase. And don't forget to put your placeholder in your first stitch. It would be this one since we did an increase. We're going to continue to increase all the way around. Alright, once you've reached your placeholder and done your increases all the way around, you should have 12 stitches. So once you do, you can continue. You take our placeholder out and do a single crochet. And then put our placeholder back in. So for the body, we want more of an oval shape than a circular shape. So we're going to do our increases a little bit differently. So for round 3, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 3 increases, 3 single crochets, and then 3 increases. So here's our first one. We're going to do 3. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 3 increases. So there's 1 increase, 2 increase, and 3 increase. Now we're going to do 3 more single crochets. And now we're going to do 3 increases. So doing our increases like that makes it more of an oval shape than a circular shape. Once you've reached your placeholder, you should have 18 stitches. Once you do, we can continue on to round 4. Just take your placeholder out, single crochet, and put it back in. For round 4, we're going to do 6 single crochet, 3 increase, 6 single crochet, and 3 increase. So we already have 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 single crochets. Then we're going to do 3 increases. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do another 6 single crochets and then 3 increases. Right after you've done those, you should have 24 stitches. Once you do, we'll continue on to round 5. Take your placeholder out, single crochet, and put it back in. Now for this one, we're going to do 9 single crochet, 3 increase, 9 single crochet, and 3 increase. So we already have 1, do 8 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 3 increases. 1, 2, 3, and then you'll do another 9 single crochets and 3 increases. After you've done that, you should have 30 stitches. Once you do, we'll go on to round 6. Take your placeholder out, single crochet, and put it back in. Alright, similar to the head, we're going to do single crochets all the way around. We're going to do that for 8 rows this time. So I've also written these down because I found that this is just the easiest way for me to do it. So once we do our single crochets all the way around, we're going to check off round 6 and then so on. Do the next one, check off 7. So you're just going to do single crochets all the way around until you reach your placeholder again. Okay, so I reached the end of round 6, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that off, and I will resume the tutorial once you've marked off 13. I have now completed round 13. If you still need to catch up, just pause the video. But once you're ready to continue, make sure you still have those 30 stitches. None of your stitches should have changed since you haven't done any increases or decreases in these rounds. We'll go on to round 14. And make sure that you have flipped your work like we did with the head. Make sure your tail is on the inside there and not on the outside, because this is the correct side for Amigurumi to be facing. So we're going to take out our placeholder, do a single crochet, put our placeholder back in. For this round, we're going to do 9 single crochets, 3 decreases, 9 single crochets, and 3 decreases. So we already have 1, do 8 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're going to do 3 decreases. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to do 9 more single crochets and then 3 more decreases. After you do that, you should have 24 stitches. Count to be sure. We're going to go on to round 15. Take out your placeholder, do the single crochet, and put your placeholder back in. For this round, we're going to do 6 single crochet, 3 decreases, 6 single crochets, and 3 decreases. So we already have our first one. We'll do 5 more. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to do 3 decreases. Then we're going to do 6 more single crochets and 3 more decreases. Once you're done with that, you should have 18 stitches. And now we're going to add the stuffing. So take out your hook. And we're going to start stuffing the body. Once you're okay with the stuffing, put your hook back in. We're going to continue on to round 16. Take your placeholder out, do a single crochet. Make sure you pull your yarn tightly. Put your placeholder back in. For this one, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 3 decreases, 3 single crochets, and 3 decreases. So we already have our first one. There's 1, 2, 3 single crochets. We're going to do 3 decreases. Oh, there we go. There's 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do 3 more single crochets and 3 more decreases. Once you've done that, you should have 12 stitches around. We're going to go on to round 17, and now we're going to be doing the tail that is attached to the body. So take out your placeholder, do a single crochet, put your placeholder back in. And for rounds 17, 18, and 19, we're going to single crochet all the way around. I've also written these down so we don't lose track. So just single crochet all the way around. All right, once you've reached that placeholder, make sure you check off round 17. You're going to do the same exact thing for 18 and 19. Once you've checked off 19, we can continue on. This is what it should look like. We're starting to form the tail there. We can go ahead and add some more stuffing, because as it gets smaller, it's hard to put the stuffing in. Next, we're going into round 20. So take out your placeholder, single crochet, your placeholder back in. For this one, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So I've already done 1. There's 1, and then 2 single crochets, and then a decrease. All right, and then 2 single crochets, and a decrease. Keep doing that until we get to our placeholder. All right, now you should have 9 stitches. We're going to go on to round 21. Do a single crochet. For rounds 21 through 23, we're just going to do single crochets all the way around. And I wrote this one down as well so I don't get lost. Just single crochets all the way around. Reach my placeholder, so we'll mark off 21. And then keep doing that till you mark off 23. All right, once you've checked off 23, we can go on to round 24. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and add some more stuffing into here. So once we decrease a little more, it's going to be really hard to get the stuffing in here. All right, going on to round 24. Take out your placeholder. Do your single crochet, placeholder back in. This time we're going to do 1 single crochet and then decrease all the way around. So we've already done our 1 single crochet. So we're going to decrease. and 1 single crochet and decrease. One single crochet and decrease. Alright, so you're done with round 24. Now we're going to our final round, which is round 25. Take out your placeholder, single crochet, put it back in. And we're just going to do single crochets all the way around one time. And then we're just going to leave a little bit of a tail. So you can snip that off. Take out your placeholder. And we're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. So insert, yarn over, pull through, and pull through again. Pull it tight. And we're going to try to stuff a little bit more stuffing in there. Just use the bottom of your crochet hook. Stuff the rest of the stuffing into the end of that tail. Once you're happy with the stuffing, we're going to go ahead and grab our yarn needle. We're going to thread this yarn through the eye. And twist it, or maybe get your fingers a little wet in order to put it through. Sometimes it can be a pain. Okay, just tie a little knot. And we're just going to sew this tail shut here. So we're just gonna insert our hook into one stitch over here, and then go to the other side and insert it over there. We're gonna go through. And you can go through this loop if you want to. There you go. Go to the next one. And you sew that shut. Just go through as many times as you need to close that up. And once you're happy with that, you're going to insert into the body here. And you're just going to poke it out through one of these holes down here. And you're just going to pull that through. Take your scissors and snip that off. So now your tail is hidden safely in the body. Your yarn tail, not this tail. We're going to go on to the next step. Next, we're going to make the legs. So continuing on with your main color, we're going to make another magic circle. All right. So in this magic circle, we're going to make 7 single crochets instead of our usual 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pull your magic circle closed. And then for rounds 2 through 7, we're going to single crochet around. Alright, so I've written this down here. Our rounds that we need to do single crochets all the way around on, so there's no increases in this. So we're going to insert into our first stitch here. Do a single crochet, and then we're going to put our placeholders so we know when to check off our round. So we're just going to start doing single crochets all the way around. All right. Make sure you still have 7 single crochets all the way around. You can check off round 2. And we'll go on to round 3. Take out your placeholder. And single crochets all the way around. Alright, and check off 3. And what you want to do now is go ahead and flip your work so that it's on the correct side. The more rounds you do, the harder it'll be to flip it once you're done. So we'll just go ahead and flip it. I want you to continue doing single crochets until you've checked off round 7. Once you've checked off round 7, it should look like this, our little leg for our little axolotl. And we are done with this one now. So we're going to leave a bit of a long tail in order to sew it into our body later. So snip that off, take out that placeholder, and we're going to do another slip stitch. So insert into this stitch, yarn over, pull through, and go ahead and pull through the one on the hook. Pull that tightly, and we're going to add a bit of stuffing to this leg. Since this is so tiny, you'll probably want to use your crochet hook to get it in there. So you'll want to make 3 more of these legs. I'm going to do that off camera, but as soon as you're done, we're going to move on to the next step. Once you have your 4 little legs all stuffed and with a long tail to tie them off, I'm going to put those to the side. And we're going to grab our second color. So now we're going to make the gills, and we're going to make 6 of those. So instead of doing a magic circle, we're going to do a slip knot. So we're just going to wrap this around our fingers, and then we're going to push it through the middle, like so. I'll show you that one more time. Just wrap that around your fingers and push it through the middle and pull. All right. If you have any trouble with that, just rewind, watch it a little bit slower, but you got it. This one's a lot easier than the magic circle. But you'll just tighten that onto your hook, and now we're going to make 7 chains. So to make a chain, we're going to yarn over, pull through, so that's 1, yarn over, pull through, there's 2, yarn over, pull through, that's 3. And to keep doing that until we get to 7, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so now we have 7 chains. You can count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, from the second chain from the hook, so not this one, but this one, we're going to do a single crochet. So we're just going to insert into this little stitch right here. So insert and make a single crochet. And then the next one, we're going to insert and make another single crochet. And we're just going to keep doing that until we've made 6 single crochets. And the last one. Alright, so you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our 6 single crochets, and there's 1 gill done. So we're going to leave a little bit of a tail for sewing in. To tie this off, we're just going to insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through that loop, and pull it tightly. Alright, make sure you leave a long tail for sewing. And we're going to make 5 more of these, and I'm going to do that off camera. If you still need more guidance on how to make this, just rewind the video, watch again, and I'll join you back when we both have 6 gills. Alright, once you're done with your 6 gills, we're going to start attaching all of our pieces. So you should have a head, a body, 4 legs, and 6 gills. To begin, we're going to attach the head to the body. So this long tail we left for sewing, we're going to grab the end of that. We're going to grab our yarn needle. I'm going to put the yarn through the eye of the needle. I've pulled the camera back a little so you can more clearly see what I'm doing. So what we want to do is hold the head up to the body exactly where we want to place it. So look around at every angle. Make sure that it's exactly where you want it. Make sure the eyes are even. Okay, so holding the head exactly where you want it attached to the body, we're going to hold that steady. We're going to see where our yarn is coming from. It's right here on the head. So we're going to find a stitch to go in that's closest to that on the body, which right here looks pretty good. So we'll just insert our yarn hook and pull that all the way through. Keep a steady grip on the head. So now we're going to go back into the head, like so. Pull that all the way through. Make sure you pull tightly when you do this so it won't come undone. You may need to keep tugging on your little knot there so it doesn't come undone. Alright, now we're going to go back into the body. So always just do the closest stitch that you can from where your yarn currently is. We're just going to keep doing this all the way around. And back into the head, like so. And then back into the body. And you want to keep doing this all the way around. You can also turn your work to check how it is lining up. So obviously it will look different when it's attached to the body versus just being beside it. Make sure you're always pulling tightly. Attaching things in crochet does take some practice, but the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Don't worry if something is a little uneven or not completely lined up straight, because that's the fun part of doing handmade crafts, is they're all unique, they're all a little bit different, they're not made by machines, they're made by people. And so nothing's going to be perfect. So our slight little things we may see as flaws actually make it better because it is handmade. Something being handmade makes it more special because it was made with time and patience and practice. Okay, that looks pretty good. Once you have attached the head, what we're going to do is we're going to insert our yarn needle into a stitch near where your yarn is coming out of to the body. We're going to bring it out of another stitch a little bit away, like so. And there's no need to tie a knot or anything, because no matter how hard you tug on this, it's not going to come off. As long as you pulled it tightly with your weavings, sewing it in, then it's not going to come off. So, pull it a little tightly, and then you can snip it off. There. Now your head is attached to your body. The next step I like to do is to attach the gills. We're going to have 6 gills, 3 on this side and 3 on this side. So what I like to do is kind of measure. The first one, I like to align it with the eye in the middle of the head right here. So as you can see, it's lined up with the eyes and in the middle of the head. For reference, this is how I attached the gills to this one. The ones on the outside started at the eyes there, and then another and another going up the head, little gills. I also like to face the gills on this side instead of this side, just because I think this side looks nicer. And with our tail we left for sewing, we're going to put it through our yarn needle. We'll tie a little knot there. I'll start on this side. Line it up where you want it to be. Okay, so once you've found exactly where you want to put it, you're going to look right underneath. Right here is right where we want to attach it. Because wherever we put this yarn through, that's where it's going to go. So if we put the yarn through here, it's going to attach like that. So pull that through, just like that. And we're going to do a few more through the gill to secure it. So we will insert our needle, pull that through, pull tightly, and then we're just going to go back through that same stitch, pull that through. And then we can go back through the gill again, pull it tightly, and then back through that same stitch, just so we will get it nice and secure. That seems pretty lined up to me. Once you've done that, we're going to stick this through the head, pull it out at the bottom. Once again, there's no need to tie a knot. As long as you pulled your yarn tightly, it will not come undone. See? And now for this one, we'll also have to hide our tail. So we're just going to do the same exact thing of pulling that through the head to hide that tail. Just like that. Now both of those are safely tucked inside of the body. Now we're going to attach the next one. We're just going to do it on the next stitch right beside this one. This would be right here. Felt like that was a good spacing between them. All right, put your needle through the gill again, and then through the body. Through the gill, through the body. Just like that. And if you wanted to do it a few more times, just in case, then you could, but this is enough for me. Pull that through the body, cut the tail. And you can always save your yarn scraps to stuff your creations. Instead of just using polyfill, you can add a little bit of yarn scraps as well. Then we're going to hide this tail. If you ever have the little thingy poking out, you just stuff that in there with your crochet hook so you can't see it anymore. Now we have 2 gills. You can do the same thing with the third one. Make sure they're all facing the same direction so it'll look nice. Alright, in the next stitch there, pull that through. Through the gill, pull tightly, through the body, through the gill again, and then through the body. And then we'll just hide that, like all the other tails. And then hide this one. Alright, I've showed you how to do this side. And I'm going to do the other side off camera. You just do the same exact thing, line it up, make sure it's in line with these ones. And just do the same exact thing on the other side. Alright, once you've got all of your gills attached, nice and pretty, we're going to move on to the legs. Here's a reference for where we're going to place them. We're going to put 2 in the back and then 2 in the front by the head. I'm going to show you how to do one of them, and then I'm going to do the other 3 off camera because then that would be very repetitive if I were to show you all 4. Okay, so we kind of want to position them downward, like so, close to the tail. So for the back ones, we're going to place them here, and then here. And then for the front, here and here. So we don't really want them facing this way. More like this probably looks a little bit better. So once you've found exactly where you want to put the leg, we're going to hold that steady in place. I'm going to see where our yarn's at right here. So we're just going to insert that to the closest stitch on the body. It's alright if you lose it there, you can still attach it once you've got your place. So just like that. I'm going to go back into the leg. Pull that tightly. And then back into the body. Like that. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. If you need to add more stuffing to the leg while you do this, you can before you close it up. Once you have finished attaching the leg, insert your needle back into the stitch, and then just pull that through the body so that we can hide that tail and snip that off. So now we've got our first leg attached. We're going to continue to attach all of the legs like this. Once you have those legs attached like so, then you are done with your axolotl. And one more tip, if you want these gills to stay straight and not curl up, you can get a flat iron and just put it on the low setting and then put them over the gills like this, and it'll straighten them out for you. But yeah, super cute. If you made it to the end of the video, then thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's amazing to me how many of you want to create little yarn creatures with me, and I hope I could be a big help to you in your crochet. Don't forget to send me a picture of your axolotl on Instagram at taylor.peach. I look at all of your pictures that you send me, and I love every single one of them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.